for example, during chemotherapy, our immunity level drop down, our taste gets altered, we may have some ulceration inside our mouth. How to deal with that? So during chemotherapy, due to all these side effects, our food intake reduces and thus our nutritional status goes down. We may lose few kgs of body weight, but don't worry about that. You will regain that weight generally after completion of the chemotherapy, once we are able to have food in a normal way. So during chemotherapy, we have to take few precautions. As our immunity level goes down, we may get infection from outside easily. So from food also we may get infection. How to prevent that infection we may get from food? First is, we have to have food which needs to be thoroughly cooked. It may be boiled, may be fried, but food has to be fully cooked. We should avoid any half cooked or partially cooked food or any raw food. For example, we sometimes have half boiled egg, poached egg, sometimes we may have some half cooked meat or fish. That we should avoid. We should have fully cooked egg, fully boiled or fully fried or fully cooked any other food items. And sometimes we may have some soaked nuts or soaked germs, germinated grams. That also should be avoided. Germinated grams and soaked nuts should be cooked, either boiled or roasted, then we may have that. Sometimes we may have raw haldi, that also should be avoided. And sometimes we consume some raw leaf paste, that also should be avoided during chemotherapy. These are the few changes we need to incorporate in our life. Sometimes we may have raw milk, which also contains good amount of harmful germs. By means of pasteurization, we reduces the harmful germs content in the milk. So we can consume pasteurized milk and milk products like curd or chana from pasteurized milk only. The few food we consume raw, that is fruits. Fruits, we may have fruits, but we should limit those fruits which we have with skin. For example, grapes, guavas, we do not remove the skin, right? So we should avoid those fruits. The fruits that we remove skin, for example, banana, orange, sweet lime, those fruits can be taken during chemotherapy. There is no problem, but once you peel off the skin, you have to have that fruit then and then. We cannot keep peeled off watermelon for one day and have it on the next day. We cannot do that. After removing the skin, we should consume the fruits then and then. And another thing is that sometimes we eat food from outside. So during chemotherapy, as our immunity level goes down, we should avoid food from outside. We should have food from safe sources only. Sometimes there is some we have to have some food from outside. So we may have sealed food, but if required, and before having that sealed food, check the expiry date before consumption. That is, these are important to, as our immunity level goes down, to prevent any germs to enter in our body. We have to follow these modifications. And because our taste get altered during chemotherapy, few modifications that we cannot treat it by any means. So, but few modifications may help. For example, we may have food which do not have any strong smell. For example, very strong smell of spices, very strong smell of onion, garlic. This may further reduces our food intake. So, for example, custard, porridge with milk, with pasteurized milk, sometimes with